On the 6th of March 1937, the Stella Polaris left the Pacific and entered the waters surrounding the Dutch East Indies, the country now known as Indonesia. She dropped anchor at Bali, an island still largely untouched by tourism. In the late 30s, it received fewer than 250 visitors per month. Today, Bali is established as Indonesia's most important holiday destination. They steamed on to Java, where the Dutch colonialists had tried to turn the capital Jakarta into the Amsterdam of the East by building a network of canals. But the canals brought malaria, cholera and dysentery to the city, causing tens of thousands of deaths among Dutch workers and the local population. Nearby was a place that had proven an even greater challenge to colonize, Nias, a location described in the film's intertitle as the Island of Savages in Armour.
Nias had a particularly bad reputation among the Dutch as a tough place. They'd sent a ship there in the mid-19th century, and the ship had been stormed by the Niasans and the crew beheaded. So this was a dangerous place to go. The Dutch finally conquered the island completely in 1906. But 15-20 years before this film was shot, these people were still living the heroic life of warriors, raiding enemy villages, capturing hostages, and hunting for heads. They saw their whole world destroyed, and then they're asked to put on dances which mimic that world. We see the chief in his ceremonial costume, but in fact he had very little power by this time, because the Dutch had taken away most of his powers of patronage and jurisdiction. These pictures are quite tragic to me, because they show people who have lost their world completely. All of their values were overturned. Everything that they believed was right about the world was suddenly wrong, sinful. And their heroic warrior ethos was suddenly devalued as something terrible and a crime. And yet they're standing there in their warrior outfits with their guns, and not surprisingly they look very sour. Who wouldn't?